Hello all, welcome to a small session which will help you to understand pointers concept in detail. Okay, so I'm introducing to you some example programs that you can work on with pointers. So let's move on to the first program. So here our mission is to update the content of an array using pointers. Okay, so I hope you will be remembering how to store array elements using a pointer and what is the concept of a pointer to an array. Okay, so a pointer to an array is going to store the base address or the starting address of an array, right? So here we are going to update the contents of an array using pointers. Okay, so let's see this program in detail. So this is the preprocessor directives. Then inside the main function here we have introduced a pointer p which is storing the base address of an array. Okay, so the malloc function will help you to assign addresses, to allocate addresses. So here you are creating an array which has a capacity to store 30 integers. Okay, that is why we are computing the size of integer, because that particular parameter is operating system dependent. Okay, so you are creating a space for 30 elements. So your array is now ready and the base address is available with P. Okay, now you're going to enter the size of your original array, which means the array that needs to be modified. Okay, so you are reading the size, then you are entering the array elements. So this was already discussed, this portion was already discussed in the earlier video which I had made. Okay, let's see this. So here what are you doing? You are taking the input from the user, right? So, and those inputs will be stored at the specific location which is computed on the basis of the value which is stored in P. Okay, so that is how you are inserting the elements into the array. So now your array is ready. Okay, so if your array is now ready, then that means you can now perform the modification, right? Okay, so just for the sake of it, I am just printing the array content before the updation. Okay, so before the updation you will be printing it using the indirection pointer, which was also discussed in my earlier video. Okay, so you are printing the array content by using the indirection pointer. Okay, again what happens now? You have to perform the modification, right? So for the modification here you are updating each element of the array by incrementing it with 5. Okay, so here you are updating each content of the array with an increment of 5. Okay, then I'm using the same loop to display this modified content. Okay, if you want you can write a separate loop for this and display the content altogether. Okay, so here just to reduce the code, I'm just printing the same immediately after modification. Okay, so this is how the program works and this is the expected output. So as you can see, I have entered my size of the array as 5 and I have read the elements as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, and I'm displaying it before the updation and then I'm displaying it after updation. Okay, so this is how you can make use of pointers. You don't have to use an array variable. You can use the base pointer variable which stores the base address to modify the array. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Next one is copying the content of an array to another array. Okay, so here you have to definitely declare two array elements, which means you will require two pointers. Okay, one will be pointing to, or one will be storing the address of the first array and the other will be pointing to or storing the address of the second array. So I have clearly defined and allocated space for two arrays. Okay, so P is pointing to my first array and Q is storing the address of my second array. Okay, so my mission is to store the content of the array pointed by P to the content to the array pointed by Q. Okay, so just like the previous program, we are reading the size of the array and we are reading the array elements and I am displaying the content of the first array. Okay, just like we did before. Okay, then what you have to do? You have to copy the content of your first array to your second array, and that is done in this particular statement. Okay, so as you can see inside my for loop, I have been copying the content of the first array to the respective position in the second array. Okay, is that clear? And in the same loop, I am printing the content of second array. Okay, as I said before, you can use another loop if you wish to. To reduce the code, I am just displaying it this way. Okay, so this is the expected output. So I am entering the size of my array, then entering the elements to be copied, and this is displaying the content of the first array. And after my for loop, which was designed for copying the content, this will be the content of the second array. So this is the uh, program. This is the expected output. So I hope these programs will help you understand a better concept in how to use pointers. Okay, so I'll share some sample programs with you. You may work on this and find out how to use pointers and how to perform programs using pointers. Okay, so if you have any doubt, as usual, you can use the comment box. Thank you.